Hey guys, it's Jason here.
Speech off.
Sorry you didn't turn off the speech, but hey guys, it's Jason here. Welcome back to another video on my channel. And today I will be ranking all the Trivium studio albums. I just did the whole thing and I realized that I didn't even hit record. So I was just literally talking and I didn't even hit record. And I was thinking I was stopping the video and it made the record sound. I'm like, what? I didn't even record all that footage? And so, yeah, so I guess I'm going to have to redo this video again. And so, yeah, so I guess I'm redoing this. And so, yeah, Trivium. We're ranking all 10 of their studio albums, putting them in a tier list. And, you know how this works because of the Five Finger Death Punch ranking and my own songs. We will have the awesome tier, the good tier, the mid tier, and the not so good tier. And yeah, so Trivium. So, and before we get started, let me just make sure that this is actually still recording.
Stop recording video. Stop recording video. Speech off.
Yeah, still recording. So yeah, Trivium. I didn't really check out this band until about like 2 years ago. And when I was getting one of my friends, Damian Palacios, you know him because he watches these videos and leaves comments on them all the time. And so, yeah, I was getting him into metal, and he's like, check out this band, Trivium. And he showed me one of their songs. I'm like, they're technical, and they're really good, actually. But I was like, I kind of had my doubts on it for like a month or two, because I checked out that one song, and he sent me it. And I listened to it, and I was like, yeah, it's a technical song, but I don't know how I feel about their other songs. And I waited about a month or two, and then checked them out again. And, yeah, so yeah, that's an interesting history on Trivium, and that's how I got into them. I started listening to a bunch of their songs because they were good. And yeah, let's actually get into their albums. So first up, we have Amber to Inferno, released in 2003. And for me, this is kind of an interesting record. You have the opening track, Pillars of Sermons, which is awesome. It's a heavy, awesome track. But then you have the first half of the album, which is kind of boring. And it kind of has the same riff structure and the same kind of song structure and the same, structure and stuff of songs. But then you get past the interlude after the title track, Amber to Inferno, which actually is kind of good, even though it kind of has the same thing as the rest of the first half of the album. It's good, but yeah. But after you get to that, you have songs like, after you get past the interlude, you have songs like Burning to Burn the Eye, which is a great song. I think it's one of my favorite songs off this record. Then you have Falling to Gray. Then you have When All Light Dies, which is a great, heavy, brutal track. And I like how it ends, and it just, kind of like fades out. It kind of, fades out, and then it goes into the outro track, which I'm forgetting what it's called right now. But It goes into that, and I like that, how it just ends the album. But yeah, it's an okay record for what it is. Again, it's not their best. It's not the best Trivium record. Because we'll get to that in like pretty soon in the video, later in the video. But it's okay. Again, I don't like the first half of the album. I kind of got bored throughout it until I got to Amber to Inferno, the title track, which is good. And then the second half of the album is good. So this album has its moments, but it's still not, good. So I'm going to put it in the mid tier. It's going in mid. Amber to Inferno is mid. Next, we have Ascendancy, released in 2005. This album is awesome. It's kind of the same, like, I don't know what you want to call it, but because it doesn't have the same, like, chord or riffs or whatever it is, the front half of Amber to Inferno, but it kind of has the same sound as that record, but turned up to another level. You got songs like the opening track, Rain, The Deceived, which is a heavy track, Ascendancy, the title track. You got heavy songs in the back half of this record, like Suffocating Sight and stuff like that. Drown into Our Sender, pull harder on the strings of your martyr, like Light to the Flies. I'm just like literally naming every single track on this album. What else? Then we got lighter stuff like Dying in Your Arms. Departure, I think, is a lighter track. Also, heavier stuff like Gunshot to the Head of Trepidation. Tracks that are just good. So this is an awesome record. There's awesome banger tracks. And yeah, this is going in the awesome tier. Next, we have The Crusade, released in 2006. And so, lyrically, I love this record. I like that they kind of changed the lyrics up a little bit, from, what they were doing in the first two records. In this record, they're talking about, like, their views on the world and corruption and injustice and all that stuff. So it's kind of different lyrically when it comes to the first. It's kind of different lyrically than the first two records. But musically, I don't feel this one, man. I mean, it's their attempt at a thrash record. And, yeah. And here's the thing. I don't even know what genre I would call Trivium. Because they kind of, explored different, like, sounds in different genres. They're supposed to be called metalcore, but I don't really define them as a traditional metalcore band, because a traditional metalcore band, like, has, like, breakdowns and stuff. I mean, maybe not a lot of the 2000s metalcore, but, I mean, a traditional metalcore band a lot of times now has breakdowns and stuff, so I wouldn't necessarily call them a metalcore band. For a lot of these bands that don't really have a specific genre attached to them, like, even so, kind of Five Finger Death Punch a little bit, I just call them general metal. They're just called general metal. But yeah. Anyway, back to the record. This is their attempt at a thrash record. I don't really think that this works musically. There's some bad songs like Tread the Floods. Like, I like it. I don't mind it lyrically, but musically, I don't really like it. But we also do have a little bit of good stuff musically, like the first three songs of this album, like Ignition, Detonation, Entrance of the Conflagration, and then we also have To the Rats, and oh my gosh, the title track that ends the record, The Crusade, the instrumental. What a damn good way to end an album. Like, it's just, it ends so good, and after all that boring stuff, musically, but I don't mind the lyrics, like, especially on songs like, what is it? Contempt Breeds Contamination. That song is very good lyrically. But musically, I got bored throughout this record musically, and I didn't really like a lot of the guitar work, like I did Ascendancy, and even Amber to Inferno to some extent. But I wasn't really feeling the guitar work. The drums sounded all right, but there's also I don't feel this record. It's all right for what it is. It's good lyrically, but not really that good musically. And so, I'm going mid-tier with this one. Mid-tier on this record, because again, that ending track is cool. But you also got some stupid, and then you got the good stuff lyrically, but not the good stuff musically. And then you also got some stupid songs like Underpendent, which just talks about this guy who supposedly murdered like 4 children and whatever, and it just sounds stupid. Then Sadness Will Sear and stupid songs like that. And then but anyway, it's a boring record musically, but I love the lyrics on some of these songs. So mid-tier. Next, we have Shogun, released in 2008. And I'm gonna go on the minority of this one. Make sure that it's still recording. But I'm gonna go on the minority of this one and say that this record is not my favorite Trivium record. I know a lot of people that have watched album rankings on Trivium think that it is, but I don't really think so. I mean, it's still a good record. I still like the songs on it, like the Prometheus and the Crucifix, Torn Between Shiloh and Tread Eyes, the title track Shogun, which is a 12-minute song. Oh my gosh, 12-minute prog song. This is kind of where they're exploring prog, particularly in this track. But yeah, what else to say about this record? Matt Heafy's screams really work for this record. But yeah. I'm putting this, I don't think that this deserves awesome, but I'm gonna put this in the good tier. I'm gonna put this in the good tier. It's a good record for what it is. It has some great songs on it, but it's not their most technical record. Matt, his screams sound good, but his singing's not on par yet, and melodic stuff are not on par yet. And you kind of feel that with some of the records. But yeah, I'm gonna put this is going in good tier. So yeah, good tier. Next, we have In Waves, released in 2011, and I like the title track of this album. You can't help but scream like that. Wives! Just like as a joke. Like me and Damien will do that sometimes if we're bored. Like we haven't done it in a while, but back when we were actually listening to Trivium, when we really liked them, we were doing that sometimes. But yeah, I went back and listened to this record this morning, and I listened to it about a year ago too, and even back a year ago, I thought this was just boring. I mean, some of the tracks work, but a lot of this record is just boring stuff. Like, I mean, I don't mind the vocals and lyrics on this record and stuff. I like the first few tracks, like the title track, Inception of the End, Watch the World Burn, Dust Dismantled. That's actually a cool, good track. Dust Dismantled. That really gets you. Dust Dismantled. Like the way that Matt just screams that at you on this record. But other than that, once you get past those, it's boring, and it kind of, the songs, they kind of, had the same, like, a lot of them had the same chord progressions throughout the record. A lot of them had the same riff structure. It's just a different tempo. It's just, it's just boring, and I just got bored listening to this a little bit, and yeah, it's not that good of a Trivium record. It's just not the best. I'm gonna go mid-tier because, it still has its moments, like, especially on those first 4 tracks, but other than that, I mean, there are some good moments on the record, but I don't even remember, like, what songs they came from. And so, yeah, it's just mid. Same chord progression, same riff structure. Like, literally every single song, probably besides, like, 1 or 2, are in the key of C sharp. And sometimes, yeah, that works, like, with some records, but it just doesn't work with this record. It's because it's the same chord structure and same chord progressions. It's same. So, yeah, I mean, it's kind of leaning towards a not so good, but again, it has its good moments, so it's gonna go in mid-tier. So yeah, next we have Vengeance Falls, released in 2013. And I'm gonna go in the minority of this one and say that this is actually an alright record. I like the sound of this record. I mean, a lot of people, don't like this record because they've kind of, Trivium's kind of slowed down. They wanted to experiment with hard rock and stuff. But, I just, I don't mind this record. I mean, again, it has the same, it has the same songs. A lot of the songs have the same song structure as in Waves. The chord, progressions, kind of repeat themselves, and the riffs kind of repeat themselves, but, like, literally every song is in C sharp on this record, I think. But at least with this record, it kind of actually works. And, it kind of actually works. And, yeah, so, I like the title track, Vengeance Falls, Strife, Villainy Thrives, Incineration, The Broken World, whatever the ballad was called, trying to remember the name of it. It was before the end of the album. The End Is Nigh. It was before that. It was a slower song. It was before the end of the album. I'll have to go look back on that. See what that song was called, but not remembering it right now off the top of my head. Yeah, I'm not remembering it. But yeah, anyway, it's actually a good album for what it is. Some people could say that it's M Waves Part 2. I mean, some elements are like that, but for what it is, the sound actually works, unlike M Waves. Even though that it's slowed down, it's a good record. So I'm actually gonna say this, and it's kind of controversial, but I'm gonna put this in the good tier. It's good for what it is. And yeah. Next, we have Silence in the Snow, released in 2015. And this record, it's controversial too. A lot of people don't really like this record all that much, but I'd say that it's a good record. Probably not an awesome record, but a good record. Like, there's some good stuff on here, like Until the World Goes Cold, which is like literally one of Trivium's most popular songs. We have Silence in the Snow, the title track. We have Dead and Gone. We have Blind Leading the Blind. We have Breathe in the Flames. We have I don't know of any other tracks off the top of my head right now. But yeah, this is actually a great record for what it is. Sadly we don't get to hear like Matt scream because supposedly I think, if I heard correctly, I think he like damaged his vocal cords or something on when he did this record. I mean, we didn't actually hear like that many screams on Vengeance Falls either. I mean, we heard some, but not as much as like other Trivium records. But yeah, there's no like screams on this record, but his melodic vocals are actually like getting better, and this is going to lead into the other records which are coming up soon. But this is where his melodic vocals are like getting better. And yeah, it's it's a good record. I like the melodic vocals. I mean, I don't mind the guitar work on this record, actually. The drumming's alright. This is the last record with the drummer. I'm forgetting his name. And then Trivium got a new drummer named Alex Bennett, I think, that we'll talk about in the next record. But yeah, good album. It's going in good tier. And yeah, Silence in the Snow. Next, we have The Sin and the Sentence, released in 2017. And oh my gosh, this is where Trivium gets good. This is where they get awesome. And this is why I like them, because of these newer records. This is where they, blow up and get technical. There's kind of three generations of Trivium that I kind of think of. You have the Trivium from Amber to Inferno to like Ascendancy, where they have the Trivium sound. This is where they're figuring out their sound. Then you have the Crusade to Vengeance Falls, where they're kind of experimenting with different genres like thrash and hard rock and prog, like they did with they did a little bit with Shogun. And Silence in the Snow, I guess, kind of counts a little bit too. In that second generation, then you have the technical generation, which is this record onward. And so, yeah, let's get back to actually this record in particular, The Sin and the Senates. Awesome record, awesome tracks. We have the title track, The Sin and the Senates, Heart from Your Hate, Betrayer, which Matt just, that intro to that track is awesome. Betrayer! Like, the way he just screams that. And the drums just come in technical on that song. We have Sever the Hand. We have The Revengist, which, awesome. You have that's like a long track, but you have awesome guitar work. You have technical drums in that song. You have melodic vocals with Matt singing. You have screams on that song and on the whole album. Also songs like Thrown into the Fire, brutal, heavy track. Sever the Hand is too. But yeah, I get why Trivium blew up. And I get why some people hate the older Trivium. Because I kind of do too. To be honest. A lot of it. And this is why people like the new Trivium. But yeah, this is where they really blew up and they really got technical. And yeah, this is going an awesome, definitely awesome tier for The Sin and the Senates. Next we have What the Dead Men Say, released in 2020. This is when, COVID started. This is when I was actually getting into this group, and yeah, so great stuff on here. This is where they get even more technical than Sin and the Senates. You have songs like the title track, Catastrophist, amongst the shadows and the stones, Scattering the Ashes, Bleed Into Me, which is, it's a slower song, but it's actually a very, very good song. I like it. Sickness Onto You, Bending the Art to Fear. Like, Bending the Art to Fear, that song, like the way that the intro just comes in, and then you have like the technical parts of that song, and it's a heavy song. Also at the end of that song, technical drums from Alex. He came in on the Sin and the Senates, and he's on this record too. He's on the next record, the last record. This is why they really got technical, was because of him. Because he joined the band, and I guess like once Matt got his, once his vocal cords were fixed up, I guess he that's when they were like, they figured out how to get technical with that drummer, and yeah, it's just been good from there. But yeah, this record, Sickness Onto You, where it's heavy but you still have the melodic vocals of that song. Oh my gosh, what else is there to say about this record? It's such a good record, and I think this is my favorite Trivium record, to be honest. I like all the guitar work on this record. Like, when it comes to guitar work, this is, like, one of my top records of all time. When it comes musically, vocally, all that stuff. It's just, what else is there to say? It's just such a good record. And Catastrophist, that was the song that Damien introduced me to, when, like, I first heard Trivium. And, yeah, it's just such a good record, so definitely awesome tier. It's my top Trivium record. Right next to The Sin and the Senates, but definitely awesome. And last but not least, we have In the Court of the Dragon, released last year in 2021. And yeah, I love this record. You know, they've taken the technical elements of the Sin and the Senates and What the Dead Men Say, and yeah, they put in this record. The title track, In the Court of the Dragon. We also have slower songs like Feast of Fire. We have Sword Over Democles, if I'm pronouncing that right. A Crisis of Revelation. Crisis of Revelation. So many good songs. Like, we also got longer, like, progressive songs like Fall Into Your Hands, The Phalanx, and then we also got, like, shorter but heavier stuff like Dawn to Decadence and stuff like that. And to be honest, I think that's actually the shortest song on the record, Dawn to Decadence or whatever. But yeah, it's just good stuff all around. The only thing that's really holding back this record, though, is the production. It's kind of like when it comes to that, it's not the best Trivium record. I would say that it's like one of the worst Trivium records in that regard. It just doesn't sound as high as quality as like records like What the Dead Men Say and even the Sin and the Senates when it comes to the production. But other than that, it's still an awesome record. It's going in the awesome tier. There's a lot of great jams on here. Just like on What the Dead Men Say. But there's still a lot of great jams on here. Again, it's not my favorite Trivium record, but it's still awesome for what it is. And that's why I like the newer Trivium. It's just so awesome, and yeah, like a lot of people call these three records right here, the Sin and the Senates, What the Dead Men Say, and In the Court of the Dragon, like the trilogy Trivium records. But yeah, that's why Trivium is one of my favorite bands, because like these records and how awesome they are. And I really should have checked them out sooner, but you know, I didn't. I only started checking them out like 2 years ago, unlike Five Finger Death Punch and other bands. But yeah, still awesome record. And yeah, definitely awesome tier. And so, yeah, we have ranked all 10 of the Trivium albums, and
Close. Button. Take picture. Take picture. Stop recording video. Button. Speech off.
yeah, and that was just a little battery alert, but it's still recording, so we're all good. I've ranked all the Trivium albums, and yeah, so I know a lot of you, especially like Damien, he left a comment on the Five Finger Death Punch album video, and he's like, great video, man. He was like, that was a great video. And then I talked to one of my other friends that watches the channel, and she liked the video too. So, and then I know, you know, some people that don't really watch, you know, these videos, just watch my songs, and that's all right too. But you know, I think that some people like these videos where I'm ranking this stuff and putting them in a tier list. So, you know, I'll try to do like more of these videos in the future and stuff. Especially like when I'm, you know, not making music for a while and taking a break, and also working on my second album. I will be making more of this content, because I think that, you know, some of you guys will like that. Some of you guys like this type of content where I'm ranking these bands' albums. And so, yeah, I think that I will do this more, and yeah. Because I know you guys like it, and I've seen, you know, your comment, Damien, and I've also talked to, you know, another person that has liked these videos. For whoever watches my videos. I know a lot of people don't, but, you know, I'm glad the people that do like them. So, yeah, I will start doing more of this. So, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you do like it, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. And leave a comment if you'd like. And I will see you guys in the next video, and hopefully I don't have to record this again. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Talk to you later. Bye. Hey guys, one final note before I actually end this video. I actually looked back, and I actually did record the first video. I did record a lot of the footage. So I did actually hit record. But once I was reviewing the last album, I guess I accidentally hit the volume button or something, and I stopped recording. And so I'm definitely not using the first video, even though I have most of the footage to it, but it's definitely not, I'm just going to use the second video since, you know, I already re-recorded it and stuff. So, yeah. You know, again, I hope you liked the video. Give the video the thumbs up. And now I'm actually ending this video. So, see you guys in the next one. Bye.